Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Native Bass podcast and our first podcast of 2021, season 3, episode number 1, proudly brought to you by Wake to Us. Hope y'all had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and are enjoying yourself in 2021. So today we thought that we would start off with the topic of goal setting and what's going to ultimately stop you from achieving your goals. We want to make sure that this year is not like every other motherfucking year of our lives where you say, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be this type of person, and you write it down, and by the time it gets to March, you're like, shit, forgot, fuck, I've only done it 3 times, and there's been like 90-something days already, and then it's a birthday, and then it's your birthday, and then it's Christmas all of a sudden, and then it's New Year's, and you're like, wow, where on earth did those 52 weeks go? Okay, let's try again next year. And then it's just copy and paste that, and it's been many years of the same shit. So today, I'm just going to go through the things which have stopped me throughout my life achieving goals. So again, all these podcasts and every podcast isn't do what I do because I'm awesome and I know everything. It's more so, please don't do what I did, and if somebody can learn from my mistakes and save themselves some time, that would be absolutely fucking amazing because I've done all the dumb shit for you. So I'm going to go through and list some things that I know stop me every single time I sit down to write goals. And after, we're going to get Sev on. Sev was on episode number 3 about how to start anything and not give a fuck about what people think of you. Of season 1, one of our best listened to podcasts, and then I'm just going to interview him for a little bit in regards to what has pushed him to continue to do his goals all through 2020 when he got shat on, but I just see him do more and more and more, always. Alrighty, starting off. So number one is just getting yourself into absolute overwhelm by just looking at the end goal, and in your mind making that so completely unobtainable because you're not there yet, and nor are you the type of person who should be able to achieve that goal, and you don't have little steps to help you get there. It's like when I wanted to get on stage and I'm like, I want to do this, and you see people with Arnold Classic and my coach will be like, yeah, we'll get there, and I'm like, how am I going to get there? And just in my head was just the craziest thing. But what you have to do is small action steps and just do what you can with what you got and really break it down, and don't even think to look in the directions. You have your overall goal, and then maybe every week you have a weekly planner and you write down every single day, and then every day you then go into what you can do for that day. Because that's all a goal is. It's just you achieving all your smaller steps to eventually get to the bigger goal, but the bigger goal is so far away. So by just looking at the bigger goal and thinking that, all you're going to do is scare the fuck out of yourself and just make it look impossible to you. I often think of it like looking, when you're like trying to cross the road in your car and you're looking left, right to see if there's no cars coming. But it's like, just focus on the right, because you can't even begin to look at the left until the right is clear. So what's the point of looking at the left every single time in between if the right isn't even clear yet? So just do what you can with what you got and look at the right. When that's done, wicked. Now we can look to the left, because you can't do one without the other. And there's no point looking way distant into the future at something that you want to be able to control when you don't even have the little steps before it, right? And when I was creating Nocturnal Neverland, the event, I remember doing that. I'd be like, okay, I need to like get this stage. And then it would overwhelm me and I would do nothing. I'm like, no, okay, sit down. What do you have to do? You have to get a permit to be able to make that part of the festival an alcohol area, to then be able to position the stage in the spot, to then be able to get the stage creators to create a stage to the length and width that you need it. So what is actually stopping you from making that stage right now? Okay, it's actually the alcohol license. So what do I have to do? All you have to do today is email the forms off for the alcohol license, and don't even fucking think about the length and width of the stage right now, because you fucking can't. You're not going to plan it if you don't know where it's going to be. So settle down, stop overwhelming yourself, and just break it down. Yeah? So just look at what the next logical thing is to get to where you got to get, or look at what is stopping you from that next thing and just do that, and don't even look to think to stress about the next until that's done. All right, next up is giving up too easily. We've talked about this many times before. Just thinking that you're going to get something really quickly. Be absolutely realistic about your time. Be realistic about your goal, about where you have to get, about what you want to do, about the type of person you need to become. Do not think you have the opportunity to live such a great life and get something that you actually don't deserve yet. So do not give up too easily if your goal is something that you really, really want and something that shouldn't be easy to get. Okay? Next up is victim mentality. This can be a little bit of a tender word, I guess, or conversation. Every single person can fall into victim mentality because everyone does have stuff from their past, from their childhood that they're currently in that does actually warrant this. And everyone, because it's their life, thinks that theirs is the thing. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do this because my boyfriend's like this. I can't do this because my mum did this, or, you know, but no matter who anyone is, there is going to be something that is the worst thing for them. As we said before, there's people who are too rich. When they're born too rich, they get trauma because they've never been able to prove themselves because their parents always gave them something, everything, right? Correlate that to like somebody who saw their dad get shot growing up. They would look at the rich person and be like, what the fuck are you complaining about? But to the rich person, that's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. You know what I mean? So everyone in their mind has a story about their life, about why they shouldn't be able to achieve their goals. But us as people, because we've lived our life, we think, yeah, I know that, but they don't understand because they're not me. And I do this too. You're like, yeah, cool, I understand that everyone has their shit, but they didn't go through what I went through. Then you think of the little times you were alone and crying and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, no, everyone thinks that. So calm down. Everyone can be a victim. And most of the time that is warranted. And they have every right to get angry. And they have every right to know that that's a reason that they can be held back. But what are you going to gain from holding on to that? That's really the end of that argument. Yes, it is true. Yes, it does suck. Yes, you were wrong done by. Yes, it's fucked. Yes, this person deserves to be kicked in the throat or wiped off the planet. But what are you going to do now? And what benefit is it bringing to you by you living that story and playing the victim over and over again when no one's coming to save you? Yeah? So you can't stay victim to your story when you're trying to achieve your goals because there will always be something. And I'm not saying that it's not valid because a lot of the time, and most of the time it is, it's completely fair. But what is on the other side of you holding on to that story? Sometimes that's the hardest thing. Like, you're never going to get a sorry from the people. You're never going to be given the perfect opportunity. So it's, depending on your situation, it can make you very angry. But what benefit does it give you holding on to that when trying to reach your goals? Playing the victim and always falling into that is not fucking over anyone else but yourself, yeah? We can't really blame anyone else any longer. We now have to look at what we can do with what we've got and move forward regardless of what's happening and stop playing the victim, even if it is valid, okay? Next up is that sometimes we're just too easy on ourselves. We do not want to really harp on about hustle culture too much because that can be bad in my opinion because you just say hustle, 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 don't sleep, blah, blah, blah. You just end up burning out yourself. I know from experience, you just end up burning yourself out and just not actually being able to perform, and you do something in 10 blocks of units, which you could have done in 2 blocks of units had you have slept and taken care of yourself. So I don't want to harp on about hustle culture, but I do want to reiterate that sometimes we are just too easy on ourselves. And sometimes to get where you need to get, you just need to bust your hole, just put your head down and actually fucking work. But it's very easy when you start doing to be too easy on yourself because you have started and in your mind it's better than what you were doing before. So you're just like, oh yeah, that's good, but I was never doing this before, so I do deserve a break because normally I would be at 0, but now I'm at 3. But really in your mind, you know you can get to 10 and you're just being fucking lazy. And although you need to sleep and rest, sometimes to get where you got to get, you do have to give up sleep and you do have to give up going out for somebody's birthday and you do have to give up maybe going out for your birthday and you do need to find a place or hire a hotel or something and just get shit done in a 3-day period and just fucking smash out what you know that you need to do and not just be like, oh, but Like sometimes you grant yourself too much permission to be too lazy because you're too easy on yourself, and because it's your dream, your goal, you're the one who wants to get there. There's nobody being like, oh, you've done this much, good, rest, or you need to do a bit more, come on, and you've got nobody to hold you accountable and on your tail. So you literally just sometimes need to stop being too easy on yourself and just bust your hole and fucking work till your eyes are bleeding red. Not all the time, again, not all the time, but sometimes you do, and you can't be too easy on yourself. Quote from Kobe Bryant, I have nothing in common with lazy people who blame others for their lack of success. Great things come from hard work and perseverance. No excuses. Dedication sees dreams come true, which is true. Sometimes you just got to do the work. That's as simple as it is. Next up is excuses. We've just got too many excuses. You can find an excuse for any single part of your life in any single stage of your life, which will stop you from going after your goals. I know this. When I used to work at an office, I would be like, I can't train because I work a 9 to 5 and I have barely any time either side of it. And I'm so exhausted by the time I get home and I don't get to see the sunlight. And when I get home, all I want to do is go to bed, blah, blah, blah. So then I start working for myself. And then I'm like, oh, I can't really train because I've got no real structure in my day and I can't really plan it. So I just kind of do what I do when I can do it. And it's really hard to train, and you wouldn't understand. And even though I have the whole day to train, I kind of just waste through time because I've got so much work to do. And then when COVID shit happened and I was doing less, I was like, I can't really train because I'm not motivated because I have no reason to train and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, oh, it's too hot to train. And then in winter, I'm like, oh, it's too cold to train. I deserve to relax, blah. There's always a fucking excuse for every single fucking stage of your life. And if you link it back maybe to fitness goals, what's half an hour? Like 3 times a week. What's half an hour 7 days a week, but ultimately 3 days a week. Like, you know what I mean? Your side hustle, what are you doing? What are you doing? They reckon what, between 7 p.m. and 2 a.m.? How many of y'all actually probably end up going to bed at 1 a.m. anyway because you just fuck around and figure out ways to waste time? Or like, as I said, if you spend 15 minutes a day just thinking and sitting and meditating and planning and goal mapping, that's beautiful. But how quickly can you waste more than 15 minutes on your phone? You're always going to find excuses. So just set aside the time and don't budge and just make it happen. Next up is reassess your why and always go back to why you are doing what you're doing. It's very easy to lose sight of why you want something when you're actually so involved in doing it all the time. Again, if you need to write this down weekly or daily, as I said, I have an overall goal, and then every week I'll write down why I'm actually doing that. It's not like go to job, save money. Cool. Go to job, save money. Why do I want to save money? Okay, cool. I need to save money because my kid needs this, this, or this. Or go to gym. That's not very motivating. Just go to the gym. Wicked. Why do I need to go to the gym? If you don't go to the gym, you get ultimately depressed. There's a direct correlation between mental health and gym. So it's got nothing to do with going to the gym to look good or to feel good about yourself completing that gym goal. But it's, if I don't, it could lead into me being in a state of depression for 4 out of 7 days this week. And that ultimately doesn't allow me to achieve my other goals, which is going to make me feel like shit because I haven't done, and it's just going to snowball. And that could launch me into 4 weeks of just doing nothing, just from me thinking that go to gym is such a small thing that I could possibly miss. But why am I going to the gym? Yeah. So why are you doing what you're doing is so much more important than the actual thing that you're doing. And it's just constantly you need to check in and remember why you're achieving your goals. And that's so easily said, and you're like, of course I remember. But I mean, physically writing it down either every day or having it around you, or even a reminder on your phone that pops up itself. Reason why you may not achieve your goals this year is your friends, your friendship circle, who you hang around. We've spoken about this before. It is very, very important that you surround yourself with people who are either doing what you're doing or at least understand why you're doing what you're doing, or let you be okay with doing it and don't bring you down. Yeah? You don't want to be around friends who are like, oh, you're dogging us to do this. Fuck you. If you don't hang out with us, we're going to be your mate. Yeah? You either want friends who are moving in the direction that you're going, or who say, I don't understand what you're doing. I don't get it. It's not my forte and I shouldn't, but I see that you want to do that and we support you and we'll be here. Yeah? So the people you hang around, if it is a contradiction to where you're trying to get, you may need to step aside for a bit. And if they're your true friends, they will always be there. Next up is you don't actually want your goal. That's why you're not going to achieve it. Think about how you would feel if you didn't get your goal. If it doesn't really mean that much to you, then maybe you don't actually want it. Maybe you just want the recognition. Maybe you just want the praise. Maybe you just want to do it to post some Instagram photos about it. But it's not really your core value, something that keeps you up at night and makes you feel good about yourself and is part of your mission or is part of the stepping stones to building the life that you want. Maybe you just don't actually want it. You just want people to see you the type of person to do that, but you really don't want to put in the work because you couldn't give a fuck less about it. You just want the recognition. Again, that's not going to be a strong enough force to push you in the direction of getting to it. Yeah? Times are tough. Nothing's easy. If you just want to do something so someone can give you a pat on the back or you can like post a photo looking a certain way, then it's not going to get you through the hard times. Yeah? Now, the reason why you won't achieve your goals this year is that you do not enjoy the process. And so it is so painful for you. Everyone uses this sentence like, enjoy the process. The journey is part of the dream. The journey is a reward. It's all about the climb. No, Miley Cyrus is that her? Anyway, yes, the journey is it. The goal is the end. Yeah? But we just look at the end and a lot of us don't enjoy the process. Using myself as an example, the first time I competed, I absolutely hated every single thing about the process of it. I didn't hang around my family or friends or nothing, and it was literally painful. Like, it was a very shit period of my time because I didn't actually enjoy it because all I wanted to do was get on stage, and I wasted so much of my life. Yeah, you have to figure out a way to actually enjoy the process, and that doesn't mean all of it because a lot of it could be shit that you don't really want to do, but you know you have to do to get there. But at least understand that the journey to getting there is equally and important as it. If there's a scale of 100%, just the 100% isn't only at the goal, it is spread out from the 0 to 100 steps that you need to get to that 100%. Yeah? Achieving our goals releases dopamine. So by setting little goals within the big goals, you're allowing yourself to experience this dopamine, which as a feedback loop into yourself is encouraging you along the way. So celebrate the small things, going to the gym. I'm celebrating that I put my shoes out, so then that's going to trigger my mind when I get up that, yep, we're going to the gym. Easy. Have it all set out for you. Shoes on, out the door, go. All right, but you celebrate, I put my shoes there. I never normally do that. Good. Small dopamine hit. Good. This is going to motivate us. What are we going to do now? Get our drink bottle. Done. Let's go. Let's get in the car. Let's smash some music. Now we're at the gym. What's that? It's a whole tiny little bit of micro goals, which leads to the bigger goals instead of being like, in 6 months' time, I'm going on stage. Fuck, how long, away does that feel? It's not as motivating. And you're not receiving free hits of dopamine for no reason. Yeah? So break it down and enjoy the process. Next reason why you might not achieve your goals this year is you're on your phone too much. Say no more. Limit your time on your phone. Think about what you're really getting back from your phone with the time that you're giving it. Time is the most scarce resource that we have in our whole entire lives. And if you're going to sit there scrolling through and looking at what other people are doing, although it's addictive, so this is hard, you have to divorce yourself from your phone. Just think, what am I getting out of this? Just look at it sometimes when you're on it. Just be like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what in the actual fuck am I doing right now with my time? I am on a train towards my death, not in a morbid way, but that should motivate you. We're all on a train towards our death, and every single second is a second closer. And not that death is morbid. I'm not going into that. I just think it's a change of spirit into different form, and it would lead you on to the next beautiful chapter of whatever is next. But while you're here in this body, in this meat suit, what are you doing and what are you gaining by looking at your phone for so many hours a day? Okay. Next up is routine. You may not achieve what you want because you have not put it in your routine, or maybe you don't have a routine. By sitting down and taking 10 minutes out of your day, or maybe even 10 minutes out of your Sunday, and planning out an actual routine of where you're going to fit in the little action steps that you need to get you to your end goal, you're essentially placing in your mind the idea that this is getting done, and it's so much easier. I don't know about you, but my brain is just a million stars in my head of ideas, and I'm like, and I get so overwhelmed to the point I just don't do anything, or I just sit on my couch and stare, and I'm like, this isn't helping the fact that I have so much shit to do. But I just have so much shit to do that now my brain just can't think. It's decision fatigue. That's what it is. There's so much shit going on. Decision fatigue, stress. You can't think. You're done. You don't do. And that just feeds the idea. Fuck, I am lazy. Fuck, I can't do this. Because you don't. So routine, build it into your routine. I'm going to do this then and every day. Done. Good. Set. That's one less thing I have to think about. And I won't go to bed until that's done. Easy. So some of you may need to create a routine, a daily routine, maybe 15 minutes to yourself in the morning. Who knows? Whatever works best for you, do it. I spend Sunday nights planning out the major things that I need to do each day. And then every morning I'll look at it and I will not go to sleep until it's done. I'm not saying I do this all the time and I'm not 100% accurate on smashing it all out. But that helps so much as opposed to just it being like a Monday and just knowing all these shits in my brain and then getting to the end and not having any measure of doing any of it. Okay? Planning, routine is key. Next thing which may stop you from getting your goals this year is, do you watch too much TV and what are you listening to? Yeah, I remember I always just used to by habit because it was always done by my family growing up, was just watch TV. You get home from school, you watch TV. You get home from work, you watch TV. Till once I was like, what am I even kind of doing? I'm just making myself brain dead. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with just wanting to turn off and switch off from the world and put on some Netflix and all this. That is fine. I do this sometimes as well. But as a whole, if the majority of your free time is taken off by you just staring at this box and it's not anything which is either sparking something in your imagination or your thoughts or aiding to your bigger goals or a part of your life, then kind of what are you doing? Again, if you work a really hectic job, you have kids or whatever your thing is and it's your time to unwind, like mine is reading or going for a walk or maybe watching some things on YouTube, which ultimately, yes, I know, it's TV as well. But like that's for me, I enjoy reading. Like, so I'm not to say don't watch TV. That's not what I'm saying. But if all your spare time is taken up by just staring at this box, think about if that box wasn't there. Like, what are you doing? You're staring at a wall. If it's not something that's aiding your brain, but you're saying you have goals that you want to get to, but every bit of your spare time is watching TV or something because that's all you've done, because that's what your family did, because that's just kind of the way it is, then that could potentially limit you. Switch it, right? And so, yeah, a lot of people say they want stuff, but how much time do you spend on mind-numbing shit? Yeah? Okay. Next up is get quiet. Have some space for yourself. Just go sit, go write, even if it's 10 minutes. You don't need to feel like some hippie or like I'm meditating, dude, but literally just like put your phone away. Don't look at a screen. Let your brain relax for a second and just figure out what you're going to do to get to your goal or what's stopping you. Otherwise, you'll be overwhelmed and your goals will just fall on the back end of life because life is busy. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, life is busy and there's always something that's going to get in the way of anything you're trying to do. So if you're trying to achieve your goals, you need to get quiet and think, okay, cool, yes. Am I on track? Am I not? Reassess. Where am I falling? Where do I need to keep up? But you can't do that unless you get quiet with yourself for a little bit. Cool. Next up, the reason why you may not achieve your goals is that you think you need the thing. You think you need the mentor. You think you need the gloves. Like the interview that I did with Rory Lowe last season. Oh, I can't start this because I need the gloves. I can't go to the gym because I need this brand of protein. Oh, I can't do this because I need a mentor. Oh, I can't do this because this is the brand that I have, but this brand's better, so I can't really start. Like, no. Nothing you want to do really has been done by anyone more special or important than you, and it's probably been done a little more back in the day when there wasn't all this high-tech bullshit, and they just got it done with what they had, right? So that may be holding you back as well. You think you need the thing, you think you need the mentor, you think it needs to look a certain way, but really all you need to do is fucking start. Yeah? Oh, I ordered some new pants for the gym. They're fucking aerodynamic, blah, blah, blah. I'll start next Thursday when they arrive. I'll start today and then put the pants on and realize it's kind of all the same shit. Just do it now. Hurry up, right? So don't wait too long to think you need the thing, to think you need the person, to think you need to be the right type of person to start because you're just wasting time, yeah? Next up, accountability. This could be huge for you. I know for me it is. Sorry for always linking this back to the gym, but I feel like that's something everyone can kind of relate to. So accountability. Some people work in different ways and they'll do stuff for people but not for them. So if you have a certain goal, even if it's like a business goal, maybe you tell someone, maybe you have a friend or a partner and you're like, next Tuesday and every second Tuesday, can you ask me, have you done this, this, and this? And I'll send you a list and the next week we'll talk about it. Can you please do that for me, right? Because you will do stuff for other people. I'm like that. I am a personal trainer. I've studied and shit for it. And people are like, oh, but you can train yourself. I'm like, but I don't. But they're like, but you can save money. I'm like, but I don't. That's the thing. Like I say I will, but I've proven time and time again that I just won't for myself. Like I won't get up and do it for myself. I can. And there's periods when I'm really good at it. And I'm like, fuck yeah. But I tell you what, if I pay a coach or if I have a friend or someone who's going to be at the gym for me, 100% of the time I'm going to be there because I can't let people down. But I don't really give a fuck about letting myself down in that way. You know what I mean? So sometimes accountability is so important and is the thing that's going to get you there. Even if you have to pay for it. Again, personal trainer. Like, I wouldn't have to pay a trainer to make me go to the gym. But I know what I can get from them is going to save me probably 2 years of my life because I'm not going to do it to the level that they can help me with it or they're going to make me do when I'm with them. So I'll forfeit the money to get where I want way sooner than what I know I'm not going to do for myself. Because I've proven every other year that it's kind of not going to, it hasn't worked. So why would this year be any fucking different? So maybe you need somebody to keep you accountable or you need to pay for somebody to keep you in check and just to be on your case. Even though we love to be self-motivated and ultimately that would be the perfect world. But essentially not all of us are that way inclined. And you need to involve somebody else to up the stakes, to make sure you get where you want to get. And if that means forfeiting money to do so, is ultimately worth it. Yeah? Okay. Next up is perfectionism. You never start if you're reaching perfectionism. If you want everything to be perfect around you, if you can't start this until my job's in order or until my partner gets his new car because then that means that I'll have space in the garage to do this and blah, or I need the new job because then that'll give me 30 minutes extra on my lunch break. Waiting for the perfect time, there's never going to be a perfect time. So you just need to start now and just do. Yeah? Just do. Otherwise you'll never start. Right? Next up, the reason why you will not do your goals this year is failure. You are scared of failing. We have spoken about this a lot, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But you're too scared to start because you're too scared to fail. But what are you getting from not starting? Like, cool. The end, right? I'm not going to do this because I might fail. All right, well, you already know what you're going to get. If you don't do, you're just going to have what you have right now. And obviously you're not that fucking happy with that because you've mentioned this goal. Oh, I don't want to do that because I could end up looking like an idiot. All right, cool. We'll just continue living the way you are now. Like there's absolutely nothing on the other side of failure, as we say. And if you're not going to start because you're too scared to fail, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and who cares? Who cares if you fail? You're going to fail. You're not going to live a life where you're going to get everything first go, and you're not going to live a life where you're going to succeed at everything. Fuck, man, I've bombed so hard in this last year and a half. It's insane. But like, and what? And what? You don't know unless you try. And if you fail, cool. But, and what? What were you going to do before that? What you were doing anyway? That's boring. You already got that story. You were living that life. You wanted to reach something higher, so let's go. Quote on my wall behind me, my Theodore Roosevelt. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Yeah? Yeah. So in normal terms, as we always say, don't take advice from anyone who's not in the position that you're in. And who gives a fuck if you fall on your face and fail? At least you tried, and at least you know defeat, but at least you got back up and now you're going forth again, right? You clearly have this idea in your head that you want more, or you want to do more, or you want to live a healthier life or a different way or a new relationship. So by going, oh, but I might fail if I go forward, you're just going to live that shit life. And I'm not saying it's shit, but in your head you're saying it's shit, right? You're just going to live that shit life anyway, so fucking try, okay? No more swearing. Next up, expectations and mimicking. You're expecting it to look like somebody else's success, or you're trying to mimic someone else's success. It's not going to work. It's not their journey. This is your journey. Your journey's different. Who cares what anyone else looks like or what they are doing? And I'll give you a hot tip without saying too much. Most people who look like they have it together really do not. I've met a few people who in the public eye look like they are killing it, and they are miserable. And they don't really have many friends, and they do not resemble the person that they should look like online or in business, and it is so eye-opening. If I ever could, would I do a podcast and name people? No, I would not, but just know. I would probably say like everyone I've met. No one is really what they portray themselves to be in a success and happiness. I'm just talking a social media point of view. So if you're mimicking somebody or expecting, or you're doing something and you're expecting it to look like the person on Instagram, they don't even look like the person on Instagram. I don't mean physically, I mean anything, relationship, spiritual. Do not expect your anything to look like anyone's anything, and do not try and mimic it. Plus, there's always going to be someone bigger and better than you at what you're doing anyway. And there's always going to be someone bigger and better than them. And even if there's not, they're always going to have their doubts and insecurities. So just put your blinders on, like the little blinders that the horses wear, so you can't look to the side. And fucking put your head down and only worry about you, because you're just wasting time trying to replicate what someone else has done, or looking at what other people are doing realistically, right? Like, what are you going to gain? All you really do is overwhelm yourself. Like, you really do. You're like, oh, fuck, blah, blah, blah. They're doing so much better than me. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? That's their life. Big whoop. Good on them. Nice. Your turn. Your turn to shine. Your turn to live your life and write your story. Do not expect yours to look like anyone's, and do not get discouraged by mimicking other people or wanting yours to look a certain type of way. Next. 3 more. Okay. Consistency and planning. Again, daily rituals, tasks, build in time to do the things that you need to do. Actually plan it, actually do it. Don't sleep unless you've done it, unless you really need to sleep. But you know what I mean? Don't be too easy on yourself, because there's always going to be an excuse. It's always going to be too hot. It's always going to be too cold. You're always going to not have enough time. You're always going to be tired. There's always going to be an event. You may be hungover. You may hear noise outside. You may not be able to sleep. Who cares? There's always something. So please just fucking do it. Just do it. Consistency, planning, and make sure you've put aside time for it to happen, right? This is semi-paraphrased from the Andy Frisella Hard AF podcast. And he explains how, like, when you first were hungry for something and then you were the person who wanted the thing so badly, you did all the things and then you got to that goal. So essentially that goal wasn't you, but your goal was the result of the collection of all the smaller things that you had done, all the routines, all the daily habits. Drinking your water, you going to sleep, you fucking lifting weights, blah, blah, blah. Or if you're doing business, you did your daily rituals, you did your grateful journey, you're checking in with your finances, blah, blah, blah. Then you get to this stage where you've actually achieved it and you're like, fuck yeah, I did it. And then you forget to do all the little things, right? You're not consistent with the little things that got you there because you think you're the person now, but really it's not you who's the person who created this vessel for the goal to be birthed. Really, it is just the collection of the daily rituals or the things that you had to do. But now because you got there, you think, fuck yeah, look at me go. And then you wonder why you fall off after. Oh, wow, I was feeling so good and now this. It's like, well, what did you do? You stopped doing all the things that help you get there. What did you expect? What did you expect to happen? So start doing that. It wasn't you who got you there. It was, in a sense, but it was those things, the little things. So don't think that you're bigger than them now, or don't think because you're that person that they stop. Now they keep going, right? So you were the person to do the little things and then you stop because you got there. right? So consistency and planning, and just keep going for every single stage. All right, next up is maybe sometimes you have too much discipline and that you aren't doing anything else, or maybe not too much discipline, but more so you're just so obsessed with something that you can't get away from it. Again, with competing, I did this to the point where I fucking could have lived my life a lot easier and a lot better, and I would have had better results had I just like chilled and allowed myself to live my life. But you're so involved, you end up hating the thing and you end up overly obsessed with it. Now I've got on my wall 4 pillars of things: physical, relationships, spiritual, and work. Because I tend to find myself overly obsessed with one and then I completely succeed and excel, but then I fall at everything else and I wonder why I'm unhappy. So break it down. Look at the pillars of your life and make sure that you're not too overly obsessed with your goal, that you're actually at detriment to yourself and you're fucking yourself over by just doing, burning out, when realistically you could have used 2 hours instead of 8 hours and got the same output had you allowed yourself to rest, eat well, checked in, had a breath, called your friend, call your family. You know what I mean? Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Last one is just do it. The last point is just do it. Like Nike said, Nike, whatever you say it, it's Nike though. It's Nike. No, I think. Anyway, so just do it. That is pretty much just do it. And I am, this is my slogan for this year then, just do it. Shut the fuck up and do it. I tend to have all my ducks in a row. Okay, I've got this all set out. I've got this here. I've got the right vitamins out. I've done this, or business, or I've contacted all the people, blah, blah, blah. What do I've got to do now? Oh, fuck, just do it. And it's just that final push. You're like, it's not that you don't want to, but it's just that's where the effort comes in. You're like, It's like, you've got all the things. Just fucking do it. Shut up and just do. Like, easy. Like, I'll sit there and think of 10 million excuses why not to go and do something. And I'm like, just do it. Just shut up. Stop listening to that inner voice, making up every single excuse, and just do it. And that's ultimately what it all comes down to, is just physically getting up and doing it when you don't want to do it, because you never do. Not once, not ever do you ever want to do anything that's hard, but the hard shit is what's going to get you there in the end. Just do it. Get it done. Okay? All right. So they are the top points that I have found which have stopped me from reaching my goals in all other years. So now I'm going to get Sevo on and we're going to speak to him a little bit about goal setting and how he has managed to push through 2020 and continue to smash his goals despite being pushed down, and how he overcomes some of these things that we have spoken about today. Sev, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I am well. So as many of you may know from the introduction, Sev was on the first actual season of the podcast, and it was one of our most listened to podcasts. So I'm very excited to have him back, but we're going to hit some questions from a new angle, talking specifically about goals and how to make sure 2021 looks different than any other year in your life, where you say you're going to do shit, then you kind of do it, then you back out. But this year we're making it happen. Sev.
Wow.
Wow.
One of the most listened to podcast things. That's cool.
Yeah.
And what are the people messaging in and saying, we want him back? That's awesome. I hope so.
It was dope. Which one? It was how to start anything and not give a fuck about what people think of you. And there were some fucking truth bombs and nuggets in the end of that. But no, I actually got such good feedback about that, and it's one of the most listened to. And people still actually listen to it this week, which I thought, because, I haven't been marketing it, not so much, but I got the report and there's still like people actively listening to it. So that's cool.
So hope it helps. And thank you for everybody that's listened to it so far.
Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to get straight into it. So Sev, my first question to you is, I have seen you continue to smash your goals all through 2020, despite adversity, COVID, everything else that fucked up everyone's lives. Where have you found the motivation to do so in such a shit climate and just keep going?
All right. So firstly, just perspective, just knowing the alternative and what it is, and just wanting to avoid that. So I look at it always two different sides of the coin. Both sides are hard, but which one is worthwhile And for me, like being a school teacher and being in an environment that, is majority good, but the minority is impacts me in a way that I don't want to be a part of it anymore. The motivation I did that I had at the start of 2020 was to, have a 12-month off period where I had just my work, just my photography, build my business up and see what I could do with it. I had all these things lined up, and then March came around and Perth was hit by the lockdown, COVID. And fortunately, I got back into the school system just to survive. And then within a few months, I was hustling the other business to make sure that it didn't fold, because I wanted out. Straight away, I was like, oh shit, I've confirmed that even though I'm back at school, I don't want to be here. Perspective, I know what it's like in on the other side, and I just want to succeed. There's no other option.
Yeah. So I guess overall, as I guess you've always said, is like, it's hard. Finding the motivation's hard. Hustling's hard. Doing shit that ends up not working is hard. But the alternative of doing something that you don't like or doesn't feel right is a lot harder.
It's a lot worse. It's like you go to 90 years of age and you look back and you're like, shit, at least I tried.
Yeah.
I gave it a good go. And the alternative would be, man, I did that for so long. I didn't try anything else. Oh, well, that's it, I guess.
The end.
That's scary. No way.
No risk. Meh. Same life every year over again.
No thanks. Yeah.
All right. So even amongst all of that, I've always seen you doing more and more and more, and I feel like I'm in contact with you, then I'll go months without me like talking to you or speak to you, blah blah blah. But throughout all that time, you're always with new people, new creators, new podcasts. Yeah, at an expo, on a panel. Like every time I look, it's always something like, what the fuck, like how? And you're just making so much use of your time, which is amazing and very motivating. So I want to know what advice you could give to anyone who can't seem to start themselves because it's overwhelming, or say they've got goals and they're like, oh, it's just too much, or they're looking at the end goal and they're like, fuck. So if they want to start 2021 but they just like, that's not me.
Okay, think about what you're doing right now and how much you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then there's your answer. It's like you're fooling yourself. You're lying to yourself. But find 10 to 20 minutes per day. There is time. Like if you got a full-time job, if you got kids, if you got a nagging husband or wife, you still have 10, 20 minutes a day where you can, sit in your driveway or park around the corner and just sit in your car, put your phone on airplane mode and start strategizing on what you're going to do next. Yeah. Then it goes from there, then you go from there. You start to, plan and then figure out your first action that you need to take in order to get out of a life that you don't want. And if it's too overwhelming for you, then maybe it's something that you don't, that you're not ready for yet. You need to still get punched in the face a few more times before you realize, oh shit, I have to do something about this now because I'm sick of getting punched in the face. Everybody has a different moment in their life when they're sick of it. Some people go almost their whole life before they realize I hate this. Yeah. But others like myself, I'm pretty much instant. As soon as I don't like something, I'm out. Done. Yeah. I'm looking for the alternative straight away. But the overwhelming part is just time management. Yeah. So find that 10 to 20 minutes a day. And if you say you don't have it, I call bullshit. Everybody has 10 to 20 minutes a day. That's it.
You do. And when you plan, like I want 10, 20 minutes, it's like the biggest 10, 20 minutes, but hold your phone and go on Instagram or something like this and 2 hours will go past and you won't even know.
Scroll. Yeah. So like 20 minutes a day equates to 1 year of your life. Yeah. If you do that every day for 20 minutes, 1 year of your life.
That's insane.
Imagine in a world where you can have that whole year uninterrupted, no sleep, no downtime, no one bothering you, no nothing. It's just 1 year of solid, just do what you need to do, and you'll become a master expert at whatever it is you're trying to do. Yeah. But unfortunately, in the world we live in, we have to, do things to survive, and then create that 10 to 20 minutes of your own time to be able to, and there's a few questions later on that we'll talk about that will get to what I'm trying to say, but I don't want to spoil the podcast. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for more.
No, I think that's very important when you said first action, sit and think, because it is important to break it down to little actions. Like you got your overall goal, and then you got your steps on how you're going to get there. And then, there may be some steps that you need to do before you can even get to it. But people just like look at the end goal and think.
The other thing that I did was, and I never thought I'd do this as quickly as I did, was start to read books. And I say read as a fancy word because I just listen to them. I don't have time to sit there and read, unfortunately. I tried to, but I found, audiobooks are my thing. Like I'm editing photos where there's nothing else. And instead of, like, I listen to podcasts and stuff, which are good too, but audiobooks, I've started reading them. And I think I've smashed 10 in the last, 6 months. Reading books has helped me immensely. And I've figured out a few things, they're not self-help books. They're stories from people who have, come out of that shitty mindset to then succeed, and then adapt what they did to my own life. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. And and now I'm at that point where I'm not preaching, but I'm sharing my story like I am today to people, and they're like, oh shit, he's done it. Okay, he's going to be my muse or whatever. And this is what people say to me. They're like, you've done this for me. Thank you for sharing your story. I've had the courage to do it myself now. And same with yourself. You said it yourself. You have people telling you, thank you for existing. How good is that feel?
It is. And that's what I say, like, as you said about reading, and I say always reading and podcasts are just cheat codes. It's just advice which from people who have done exactly what you want to do, and it just saves you time. Like, I always used to want to do everything alone, and I could have saved lots of time if I just wasn't so stubborn. Listen. Yeah. All right. So my next question is, what advice would you give to somebody who has been smashed down time and time again, who has never given up, has always had character, but is getting towards the end of their strength and wants to give up?
So I would say approach it in a different way. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over in the same way, expecting a different result, right? Approach it in a different way. And if you don't know what a different way is, ask someone who has success in that specific field, but it's okay to look at some of the pages and be like, oh, that's the part I'm stuck on. That's how they did it. I'm going to use that and see how I can adapt it to that. Your whole life's a video game, and people have walkthroughs online on these video games. People go on YouTube and say, how the fuck do I complete this specific level of the game? I just can't do it. And then they watch the video and they clock the game. Why can't we do that in real life?
Never thought of it like
that. Yeah. My favorite analogy to use is always video game related. So I hope people understand what I mean. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. It is perfect. And to approach it differently and look at it through fresh eyes, new lens.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it. That's it. Like literally, like if you've never played video games before, have a look. Have a look at a walkthrough online, and just whatever game it is, and you'll see they're showing you little hints and tips, and then apply that to real life. Find an expert in that same field who has done that specific problem and has managed to achieve it and overcome it, and then take that away with you and see how you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. So what is your biggest struggle personally when reaching your goals, whether it's true or not, one limitation or a few that come up for you in your brain, be it time, money, blah, 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 or if you're perfect and nothing?
Being organised. I need to be more organised. And this comes back to school, not being able to finish the assignment or the homework on time, or they set it out. It's due in 2 weeks, and I always do it in the last night before or the morning of, or in the classroom. Nut it out. Get someone else to copy off. That was me at school. Yeah. And, I see nothing's changed. Kids do that as well. And I'm like, that shit follows you through life. Yeah. You need to hack that. And I'm still working on it. I'm a lot better. accountability wise, but I mean, I work well under pressure, but would really rather an easier road if I'm more organized. Like, I know that is probably my biggest barrier. I'm going to say once I get a little bit more organized, and I can hire people to help me. Yeah. It's just I want to do it myself, and then probably hire them anyway. But if I get organized, I think I will be probably exponentially growing even more.
Yeah, I think that's huge, and something people won't, I guess, encounter until you are left to work completely for yourself. Because when you have a job, even if you hate it, you still have your tasks and you can feel accomplished, like, and tick the things off. You know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you do this, then you have a boss saying, have you done it? Yes, no, cool. Good work, good boy, good girl, good night. Like, whereas when you're your own, like, boss, it's just like,
so hard when you're on your own.
Yeah, like,
it's so hard when you're on your own.
You're just in a sea, and there's all these things you can do, and you need to. And even if you do accomplish it in your head, you've done fuck all, so you feel hopeless. And like, to me, that's the probably biggest thing of helping me feel like I'm on track to do anything. Like on, say, a Sunday, I'll have to sit out and map every single day of what I need to do, and then on the days itself. And I haven't done this in months, but when I'm full productive, like, I'll have the daily schedule of what I need to do. And then it'll be like time schedules and slot even to like do nothing or eat or exercise. But then so when it gets to the end of the week, I can actually look back and see that I've physically crossed out everything, and then I can get it done, and I'm accountable to myself because it's got time slots. And then also I don't feel hopeless, because if not, you're like, I did nothing, and maybe you did, or maybe you actually didn't and you just fucked around. But yeah, that is huge when you have to be your own boss, because it's so easy and no one's there to say you did well, which they shouldn't. But like, it's, I don't know, it never ends.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Never ends.
It doesn't. And I'm the same as you. Like, I work great under pressure and when I'm in pain.
Yeah.
And I remember Ashley said to me, she's like, well, if that's just the type of person you are, then just roll with it. And I was like, yeah, I can, and I know I produce, but same as you, I was like, my life would be great if I didn't just roll with it. And I did use the 2 weeks and not the hour before.
You got to optimize. Yeah, you got to work on your weaknesses.
Yeah. But bless. Parenting ourselves. All right, so what do you do personally? What does Sev do when you're feeling like the world's against you and when you've been trying so hard and you aren't seeing results?
I ask for help.
Ask for help?
Yeah, I ask for help. And again, going back to the one question before the last, just looking at experts that have done it. If I feel like the world's against me, the reason why everybody does anything or anyone wants anything in their life is they've somehow come to a point where they've seen either someone else do it and they frothed it, they liked it, and they want to do it themselves. Some point in their life they were like, I want to be a pilot, or I want to be a doctor, or whatever, and there's always some reason, and that means that there's someone there that can help. Yeah. You just gotta put the word out, and with the internet now, you can do it. You can do it so easily, and open yourself up and say, hey, I'm struggling here, guys. I just wanted some opinions or some advice or some help. And even if your network of people aren't the people that can help, they've got a degree of network themselves. Yeah. The 2 degrees of network is enough. Like, the people that you know will know someone that can help. Yeah. And if you're an open person and if you've been a good person, they will make that happen for you because you're not a piece of shit and they want you to succeed. So, and that's also a thing that I talk about a lot is surround yourself with good people, like-minded people, because when the going does get tough, you have that support network for you. Obviously, without expectations, no one owes you shit. But if you're a good person, you'll better your chances. You've investing your time to be a good person, and those people will be like, oh shit, I can see that Sev's struggling now. What can we do to help? What are you stuck on?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And they can see that you've actually put in the work yourself, and they're helping for a worthy cause, not just someone who's always asking for handouts and doesn't do or give in return.
Yeah. But yeah, ask for help. But the thing is, and this is where a lot of people go wrong. They're selfish their entire life. Yeah. You can be selfish, but they're selfish their entire life. And if you're selfish the entire life, when the going gets tough, the people that, because you are selfish, you won't get that help. So you got to juggle, your hustle, but also be a good person.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can attest to that 100%. When you start looking at what you can do for other people and help them, it would literally help you more. It's the most paradoxical, whatever that word is, thing ever. But if you just say, I want this, and this, and every time you come to them, it's always for something or a problem. No, but yeah. And you're a great example of that as well.
Yeah, make sure that you are selfish first, because you need to teach yourself how to fish, and then you can sell the fish afterwards. Yeah. That's why it's called selfish.
Did you just make that up then?
No, it's a very
known thing.
It's a known thing, yeah.
That is dope. Alrighty, my next question to you is something that is important to you personally when focusing on goals to help you stay on track, such as like remembering your why, the people you hang around, enjoying your process, what you listen to, routines, or etc. Something that helps you through. Okay,
so winding back again to the whole being selfish thing. Yep. My ultimate goal is to buy my time back. So what that means is I've created wealth, and not necessarily just heaps of money in the bank, but I've recruited money to work for me, whether it's investing in shares that pay me a dividend. If I have money coming in that's working for me, that means let's say, for example, I get $5 a month from my investments. That's one coffee that I didn't have to pay for. It sounds like a small thing, like one coffee a month, that's nothing.
Yeah.
But then it comes to, and this is like a finance rabbit hole tangent that I could go down, but the bottom line is my aim is to buy my time back. That's my reason why, to create a self universal base income where I cover my expenses for the bare essentials.
Yeah.
So that if I decided to go fuck all this photography shit, I just want to just do it for fun. I don't want to interact with anyone. I don't want a business. I don't want it anymore. I don't have to go, oh shit, I kind of have to still, because I need money to buy food and clothes and pay for rent. I want to be able to get to a point where I've bought that time back, so then I can be like, hey, I'm going to have the whole day off today because I can afford it and I'm not going to lose out. So that is my main reason, and nothing else. I don't want to save. Well, I do save for holidays. I do save for stuff. I do save for gifts and, all that shit. But the main thing is buying my time back. There is nothing more important in this world, I believe, that is, than your time back. Because then when I have kids, I'm going to have all the time for them. Yeah. I'm not going to be like, sorry, kids, you've got to work.
Yeah.
Even though that's majority of this world, I think 96.3%, I've studied this in depth. Those are actual accurate numbers. 96.3% of people in Australia don't have financial fitness.
Yeah.
And that's scary.
They don't teach you. Yeah.
That's scary. But yeah, buying my time back is the biggest reason to have me on track. Like if I'm unorganized, if I'm scrolling through TikTok or doing something, even if I'm trying to have a break anyway, I limit it, because I'm like, shit, my 10-year future self is going, dude, you're hindering me right now.
Yeah.
We're going to be here. I turned 30 this year, and, when I turn 40, I want to be like, sweet, my mortgage is covered through the dividends of the shares that I've invested in, because I decided to buy my time back. There's nothing more motivating for me. I honestly cannot think of anything better.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah.
I think also with age as well, you realize how quick time goes. I always say, like, once you hit 21, it's just like, fuck.
Oh my God.
And it's just 20. Everything is the same.
You got to figure out what you want to do. And that's not just, exclusive to your 20s.
Yeah.
I'm in my 30s now. Yay. I'm keen to see what I learn in this next decade or in this next week.
Yeah.
Shit, it's always learning. Yeah.
Yeah. No, time is so valuable. It really is. More important than money.
It is. Literally the most important thing in this world is your time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So many people want to act on their goals but never do, because they, whether intentional or not, play the victim and live their lives saying it's someone else's fault or I'm the product of my environment, or my mum, my dad, or my girlfriend, boyfriend did this 10 years ago and they can't because all the reasons. So advice to them holding on to that who currently have a victim mentality, even if it is valid and what happened is bad, but advice to them when trying to achieve their goals if they're holding on to that and that's what's not allowing them to go forth.
I mean, everybody's been there.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody has been there in the same way, whether you're come up from a broken family or you've been born into wealth. Everyone has a personal stigma within their family and friend circle that's holding on to them. Go talk to old people and you will realize that there's a lot out there that just regret it. They regret not trying more.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to a point in my life. Like, if I was to get hit by a bus tomorrow, I would have been stoked in my last 10 years of effort.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't want to get to a point where I'm like, shit, I did the same thing for 10 years. I kind of wanted to do this, but I was unsure. So why the fuck didn't I do it after all that time? What was the actual reason? Oh, because I never done it before and I was scared. Fucking bullshit, man. Just do it. And that's like when you say to me before, you see me doing all this shit all the time. I literally I'm like a yes man. Like, someone asked me to do this, I'm like, yeah, oh, fuck yeah, that sounds sick. Someone goes to me, do you want to be an MC at a wedding? I'm like, yes, I do. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, I've never done that before, but I'm doing this shit. And if I bomb, I bomb, you know. But if I succeed, holy shit, there's a new door for me. Green light, like Matthew McConaughey would say.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful, beautiful. And not everything is going to work. Not everything will work. It can't work. We've tried a million things and most won't work, but that's how you find out what does work. So you have to act now and do now to fucking not waste time by figuring out the shit that definitely won't work.
Don't marry the first thing that you fall in love with either, because that may be something for you short term. Yeah. And this is the problem with school kids. They marry the first profession that they're told that they'd be good at.
They have to. Decide now when you're 17 what you want to be doing till you're 60. Go.
No.
Okay, cool.
Don't do that.
It's crazy.
Don't do that. No. Yeah.
It's insane. But all right, my final question to you is advice to anyone going into 2021 with goals and wanting to make sure this year isn't like every other year. I'm sure you've answered this in a roundabout way through this last interview, but they're starting off, right, this is the year for me.
Okay, so you know, and I always try to do the whole diary thing at the start of every year.
Yeah,
this has been my worst year. We got the diary. I think I've made 4 entries, and you know, this is going to be new year, new me shit. Just like I wing it most of the time. Hence my organisation skills aren't that great. I just wing it. But if you want to make this your year, you got to look at your projects, okay? A project is something that has 2 or more actions. And then you got to break down that project into those actions and say, right, what is the next physical thing? Not mental thing. Don't fucking think about it. What is the next physical thing that you have to do? And then look at that physical action to get to your goal of the year or whatever, and start and just do it. If you can't do that next physical action, you got to think of why there is a barrier in front of you from doing it.
Yeah.
If you're lazy, maybe the goal that you want to do isn't as important. Yeah. Maybe just throw it away. And think about it like this. If you threw that goal away for this year, does that bother you? If it doesn't bother you, great. You've saved yourself a whole lot of time because you're not actually interested in it. Whether it's a goal, whether it's a career choice, whether it's whatever.
Yeah.
Some guys look at it from a year from now. Are you going to be happy with 365 days wasted where your most potential in your life right now in this day, where you're young or you're alive and you've got the internet at your fingertips to do more? Fucking do it, you know? Like, just take that next action. And if you're struggling to figure it out, fucking message me. I'll give you exactly what you need to do without even knowing who you are, what your profession is. I can break that shit down for you. It's not hard. It's just, I fucking three businesses, successful businesses in the last 10 years that I decided to close because I wasn't interested in them anymore. But I took out of them the actions that I did to make them successful. and it was just like Nike always says, just do it. You know?
That's literally the point.
Anita, I've got a question for you.
Oh,
I've got
God.
a question for you. What is your goal for this year? Since this is the first episode of the season or the year,
what is my goal?
Yeah.
My goal.
What's your ultimate goal for 2021? Let's do a live reading, like I'm a psychic or some shit.
Live reading. Oh, God.
Go for it.
First of all, it's ultimately quite unpredictable because of borders and everything. So my overarching goal for Awake Tours as a thing is just to keep it going and bring content in new and different ways that I can up until the borders do open and we can be there, and reassure people that we are always constantly here by posting every day, and to make sure they can communicate with us and know that we aren't like some other businesses who have just shut up shop and it looks like they've stolen your money. We're just here. So I guess Awake Tours is just to keep it going and do what we can with what we've got. And then in that time, me personally, I'm kind of taking it as an opportunity that I finally get to be somewhere for the first time in like 8 years. Last year I was, but it was a bit of a washing machine of just stress and not knowing what the fuck's going on. So now I've kind of like calmed down, got over being angry. And yeah, so I'm focusing, I guess, purely on my health and myself, like going back to Pilates and training and journaling and shit, and just actually like doing, I guess, what I haven't been able to for the last 8 years, because I've always been at the mercy of having like people contact me every day, all day, and just been all about the business. So I'm
so you're going back to yourself. So that's good.
Yeah,
that's it's one of the biggest silver linings of all this. If COVID never happened, do you think you would have remembered to do that sooner than later?
Well, definitely not. And I feel like it would have gotten to a point where I just would have potentially hated my business and also not given it the proper structure or practical business and I guess container that it deserved, because I was just so like go and just doing everything, and gone from like one tour to then like 8 or 9 tours, and then just always creating and doing, but having to be the person doing without being able to look at the systems and shit, which I really didn't have in place. And I would have like burnt out, and I was just on the road, and it got to a point where I was like, I don't enjoy this sometimes, but it's not that I didn't enjoy it, it's just that I enjoy creating it and creating, I don't know, Awake Tours, whereas at the end point I was just so heavily involved in always being and going, and I kind of like lost the love for why I originally created it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I guess
it's the execution, it's the actual execution that you're not really could potentially be a fan of. Like for me, it's the chase, it's the hustle of attracting enough clients and booking them. And then when it comes to the day of the wedding or the personal training client rocking up in the morning, right, I also have to get out of bed and fucking train them.
Yeah.
You just go, oh shit, now I have to do it.
It's not as exciting.
And that's an action you can take for like, right, maybe I can have someone like an offsider or someone to shadow me to go, all right, you're doing this tour for me, I'm taking a holiday, and good luck. And it's scary, I can imagine, because what if they do a shit job? It's on you because you hired them, right?
They won't. No. I'll be there to train them for years, but no. But in around it, it's also But it's kind of been, it's good because it's saved me and it saved it, but it's allowed me to give the business the respect it deserves, because I also didn't realize how big the business actually was until I got to look back now and compare it to where it was and actually have people like talking to me about it. Like I'll have people in Perth come up to me and be like, oh my God, blah, blah. I'm like, really? To me, it's just like me and my thing. So it's good. And then it's also made me just like appreciate travel and appreciate it. I'm not like, I enjoy tour guiding and I'm definitely always gonna do it, but at least now I will do it smarter instead of just running off fucking empty all the time. This has taught me the things that I need to do, which will make me love every day in every country that I am, which I do anyway, but I just get like sick or, I just now know what I need. I was supposed to be like, I'm going to train people and I'll retire in 2 years. But now I'm like, I'm going to be on the road forever. Like, it's just made me more eager now than ever to get back to doing it. But just, it's good. But if it wasn't for this break, there's no way I would have been catapulted to the next, like what it's actually going to be in the next 10 years. I probably would have fizzled out and just like not looked at it as seriously as I should have been all along.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm glad that you're
found something positive.
Well. I'm glad that you revise it as well. But people don't reflect and revise and go look back and be like, "Holy shit, I've come this way." They're always trying to get more and more and more and more. And you say that you're going to be on the road for a while or forever. How do you want to buy your time back? Because there will be a point where you're going to be like, okay, I'm actually over this. I love the business, but the business is consuming me. I can't get out because it's the reputation. Or would you sell it? Would you? I know this is like random questions, but would you sell it to escape, or would you be able to kind of step back and have it run itself because you've built it to a point that has staff members who know what you're doing?
Yeah, well, that was the plan for this year. I'd advertise for people to be employed. So the plan was to have a 3-year plan where each person got their own tour. Instead of having one person to run them all, because I know that will burn someone out, I will pick, there's one person who I'll get for each tour, and it'll be their baby. And we actually had that set up. And then they would watch me the first year, and then the second year they would do it, but I would be there. Then the third year they would do it by themselves. And then I can still be there and be around it. But also, I'm getting older now as well, and I know that there's probably someone who can eventually do it better than what I can do it. Whereas, when I started in 19, 21, maybe not as business strong, but, party strong and giving them a dope experience, I can do. And I still can do that, but, when these fucking borders open, I will be closer to 30 than 20, which is what I was before. So although I can be, more responsible, there's probably a younger person who can have more fun, or maybe someone who, when it's just their one tour, can bring way more energy than what I could when I was on the road from March to October. That's something which I've gotten okay with, giving that control up, which I know is going to have problems of its own, of course.
Yeah, but keeping a social kind of presence of your awake tours. You say that you want to, maintain that and say that you're still here. And that's your main goal for this year. So when the borders do go up, people go, "Oh, sweet, the need is still happening. Let's go."
Yeah.
I think for your next action, it'd just be, keeping that structure and keeping the posts pumping. Whether it's stories, like you do podcasts with some of the members that have been on your tours. I reckon that'd be sick. Yeah. And then, hype that up and really just make it that such a delicious cake that once that plastic cover comes off, people want the whole piece or a little piece or, a whole tour or whatever it is. I reckon that's going to kill it. And that's for every business that's doing anything overseas. There are a lot of businesses shutting down, a lot of older businesses that have been around forever. It's like a reset button. It's completely there's no competition out there. They may be building it, and you got to come out of the gates absolutely pumping. And I'm excited for that, because I reckon that will. It's with the real estate last year. They were fucked for the first 6 months. Worst record ever in the history of real estate. And then the following 6 months, best record ever in the history. So I reckon that's what will happen with overseas setups, and I reckon that's what will happen to you. People have reserved money because they can't spend it or anything, and they will be frothing at the chance to go to a festival or whatever. And Anita's going to be there with her hand up going, "Bitch, I got you." And I've got people that got you. It's exciting. I feel like if you opened up a chance to invest in your business, I would totally do it, because I think that will be a travel industry will skyrocket once everything is completely clean. I don't know when it is, but man, if you stay active and once people can buy that ticket, you'll sell out so much quicker. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping.
That's my kind of 2 cents to you. Because I've been ever since we first met. Once COVID started, I was like, "Holy shit! Oh no!" One of the first people I thought about was you, because you had a successful business, and I was like, "Shit!" That I felt bad. I felt so bad. I know, you're a friend, and I'm just like, fuck. And you just kept your head up, and you got a bartending job, and you've pivoted, and you're still doing it. people that are still listening to this, thank you, by the way. Just take a look at her example, and she still believes it. She's still pushing it out, and yeah, I mean, I'm keen to follow your journey. I'm like keen, and I can't. I'm on that fucking ticket that seat right next to you on that first tour, provided I don't have any weddings in the way. But man, you know, just to help out and just to be like, yes, I was on the first tour back post-COVID. We had so much fun.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. Like,
you know, it's an interesting time, isn't it? And I just, I'm so wanderlust, they call it. I just want to go to Holland. That's all I want to go to. Amsterdam. I want to go and visit my wife, and her family, and I want to go back home. I want to go back to my home country and visit my grandma and shit. And you know, that's me anyway. But yeah, anyway,
we are done, my love. We are done.
Hey.
Thank you, thank you so much for being interview number 1 on season 3 of the podcast going into 2021.
Yes.
I appreciate your time, and I know that people will get a lot out of this who are looking forward to making 2021 the year and not just saying it like most of us all have every fucking year of our life on January 1st. And then by the time it gets to March, you're like, yeah, true. Old habits. It's easy to go back to old patterns. But
get an accountability buddy and ask them to keep in check with you and say to them, if you don't do it by this date, you'll give them $50. That shit works.
It does, actually. It does. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, and I hope you have a good day.
You too.
Right,
bye.